CVA's Accura Series, Bergara barrels for guaranteed accuracy, nitride for guaranteed rust proofing, and a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
All right, guys, welcome back. If y'all are okay, guys, so we had just a little bit of technical difficulty. If you guys are ready, y'all can get ready to call in now, 615-737-7767. And we're going to kind of start talking about some of these baits as we go, too. And, Danny, you brought all kind of baits in here with you. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, we got it going now, guys. This segment's being sponsored by our friends over at Taylor's Archery. And you guys, you know where you can find them, right down there in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Get down there and see Tracy Taylor and his crew, and be sure to tell them all thank you for all they do for us at the show. There it is, 100 East Lauderdale Street in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Give them a call, 931-563-7706. And Tracy, hey, he's back in there, but now he's ready to go for the archery season and rested up. So get down there and see him. All right, guys, now, I said the number. I'm going to say it again real fast, 615-737-7767. Y'all can call in. But now, we've got all kind of baits sitting over here in front of us right now, Danny, and all different sizes, there's different colors, there's different styles, you know, all different things. So let's just kind of start out a little bit with what we were using in the video. We'll start there and then go, because I know there's all kinds of things you use. So what were you using that day?
Well, the one I was using that day was Mr. Crappie Magnet, I'm sorry. But it was in black and chartreuse. And I left him in the boat.
Of course.
Anyway, the colors I was using, but this red and chartreuse is a good color. But the color I was keying on that day was a black and chartreuse. I don't know if you can see that from here, but that is the best flavor, or the best color, I should say, in my opinion. But it's all different color baits, and I'd like to, you know, the clearer the water, the clearer the bait. And the darker the water, I'd always use the darker bait.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's only, you know, it doesn't matter line size or, you know, dirty water, you can get away with a heavier line.
Yeah.
But as far as that, it's just, you know, different colors for different.
Now, you're typically, I heard you say 4-pound test the other day. You typically running 4-pound tests? Is that what y'all normally have?
Until spring. Then, because spring I'll be fishing around a lot more cover.
Yeah.
And I'll have to up my line size because of that.
Yeah, you get in there, you get up to probably a 6-pound at that point in time.
And we got some heads with red hooks.
And I think you was at a 16th there.
That's all I use is 16th.
That's what I was going to hit on. You mentioned 16th ounce, so that's pretty much what you use. Whether you're on the bottom or under a float, you're 16th ounce.
Yes.
Now, the little float that you just had in your hand, what I want to talk about that I thought was real unique, and it kind of gets to part of the style that you were using. But you're not looking for that float. Typically, you guys would be watching and you're waiting on that float to go under the water. But that's not what you're looking for. Kind of explain what you're looking for.
I'm looking, this right here, when it's that 16th is just perfect for this float. And what happens is I set it up there. And if I'm fishing, say, 10 foot, the fish are at 11, I'll fish a foot above because their crappie will feed up.
Yeah, right.
They'll never go down to get it. They always feed up. So you want to stay at least a foot out. That's what I prefer.
Yeah.
And when I throw it out there, I let it stand up, and I'll just shake that float. And what'll happen most of the time, it's going to jar, and it's going to, what we call, go to sleep.
Because he's
just lay over.
When he takes the weight off that float, indicates he's
so before you actually see it come under, if you're just watching for that float to lay over, because that fish has come up, he's taking the slack out of your...
Yes, took the weight off of it, and it's automatic. Set the hook.
Yeah.
Right. Strike indicator.
It is. And you're using this line, this particular line here, it is a great line to use for the style of
Line watching.
You can line watching. I was
Yes.
going to say kind of. I didn't want to say
Exactly.
sight fishing, but yeah, line watching. That's right. And so there's marks in there. I see that they're fluorescent kind of
Orange.
marks throughout the
Yes.
line.
Yes.
And you got orange and fluorescent. And so what you're watching for there, you're not waiting to feel that crappie. So, and when you're lifting, it took me a minute. And I told Danny a while ago, I said, man, I just got to watching the video and it took me a minute to figure out what you're doing. And then I figured it out and I thought, I've got to try this. You're basically, when you're lifting that, I'm assuming this now, you can tell everybody, are you basically waiting to catch that crappie on the fall every time? Is that what you're kind of creating? Is a fall after fall after fall?
Most of the time, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to the bottom because if I can't catch them on float, they're being stubborn.
Yeah.
And that on the fall is a reaction, and they cannot stand it.
Right.
If you'll pull it off the bottom and let her fall, and always just pull it up, you'll never see me crank the reel.
Right.
When I let go, I ease it up, and I drop the slack till I have a loop. I always keep that loop, and that loop will jump. And when it jumps, and then I reel. And,
Yeah. And that's how you had kind of like that double pump on that one
right,
fish.
because
That's
I eased
exactly
up,
what it
dropped
was.
it, and he hit as soon as I dropped it the second time.
Yeah.
And the hard hook set he's doing is getting the slack out of the line and getting some tension on these
because
poles.
the fish has already got it in his mouth.
To get a set.
And that's exactly why I use this long rod.
Now
and it's a medium
let's
light.
talk a little bit about the rod. What is your rod set up there?
This is a 8. I think Dane's got the 8.6. It's a medium. What I say it was medium light.
Okay.
And so is this one, but this is an 8 foot. I have it also a 9 foot and a 10 foot. But these here is got a fast tip. And the reason you see me on video, so I'm setting the hook, and I know people's like, well, what in the world?
Yeah, this ain't bass here.
It's just, I use this long rod because I can pick up more line.
Yeah.
A
And the
6
whip
foot,
seems
yes.
more extreme than it
And
is because it's just a long rod.
It's fun to even do.
Yeah.
Let's watch, on
Yeah.
TV. But it's just, man, it's a different kind of animal.
So when you see that loop come out of the
I
line,
just jump and
that's what that whip is.
And,
You're basically you have to pull the slack out and
Yes.
set the hook.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's why it's such a extreme
and I've
whip.
got all that line, that rod can pick all that line up versus a 6 foot rod. You
Yeah.
have to.
Wind
Yeah,
down
you
and
catch
set
him,
the
yeah,
hook.
catch
have
up
to
with
get
him.
down to him,
And
yeah.
sometimes you'll lose him that way. I
Right.
mean, by the time
Yeah.
you've caught up with him, he
He's
spit it
gonna
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about the reel? What kind of reel you
It's
running
just
there?
a 2500s. Yeah, it's
Okay,
nothing special.
2500 series.
Yeah. And there's
4 pound.
blues. But yeah, 4 pound test. And I said that was Mr. Crappie, but it's not. It's Bass Pro camo. You can pick that line up at Bass Pro.
Okay. Now, this time of year in particular, of course, what we're talking about tonight is winter crappie and these cold weather crappie. But if you're heading out there, of course, I know you've been doing this a long time, and you already kind of know spots. You know, I'm going to go here and go there. But to somebody that might be watching tonight, there, what would you go out there right now kind of looking for? Is there a particular depth or type of structure or something that you're looking for to get started on?
Yes, and the answer would be I would fish anywhere on a channel swing,
Okay.
creek arm, anywhere in a creek channel
Okay.
that's intersecting a creek.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
not in the creek, but outside the creek.
Okay,
Would
yeah.
be a key spot for me. Anywhere from 10, 12 foot deep where I would start.
And you're fishing structure that's washed in or natural structures.
Most of it's what I fish is natural.
That's right. Not you haven't made places.
No.
It's just
Yeah.
natural
It's
areas.
stuff that when
Stumps or rock piles, trees, whatever it may
goes
be.
down, that's when I pull out my map, do my homework.
Yeah.
When it comes up, well, you get out there and you'll see something, you'll go, I can remember that.
Yeah.
And the water comes up and go, where does that?
Yeah, where's that
I
at?
thought it was right over
By
there.
the big cedar tree and the dog over there.
Yeah, that's where pictures and
You know.
videos can help
Brian's
you a lot.
supposed to remember all that.
Yeah, Brian.
Now, Brian, you tell me. I mean, out of the two, I know you've obviously been doing this your whole life, and so tell me though, do you have a preference on? I saw you using the float method a little more. Do you typically stick with that, or do you like to do the same type whip method? I guess.
It just depends. Usually, if you can catch them on the float, they're usually piled up at a certain depth, and you can really get into them really quick. But sometimes you got to go down under, and like my dad said, you got to go to them sometimes, and you got to let that line sink and watch that line. And when it jumps, he's on there.
He said you're about the only other person he knew that had it down pretty good.
It's like that keel. When you drop it, it's just you know, it does its own thing. And when you got that line, looping that line, you're not got no hold of it, and you let it free fall, and it automatically, it's nothing to do with you.
And that's why we talk so much about fall rates, especially with crappie. You and I have talked about it many times, but that's the difference in a 1/4 ounce and an 1/8 ounce and a 16th ounce and a 32nd ounce. It's the fall rate. And with a crappie, that can be all the difference in the world, you know, the rate it's falling.
And if you want, use the tube, or you can use these crappie magnets. It's a straight tail. And if you think it's falling too fast, just pick up you something more, got more buoyancy.
Okay, yeah. And then that's going to give you a slower
slow,
fall. So same concept as going to a lesser head, you go to a different type jig and get a slower fall.
And I've seen a lot of people out there that's fishing good spots. They'll pull up.
You know, I've heard how well you've done with Tony Farrell and all that stuff you teach him.
I'm glad you brought him up.
I mean, I'm really proud of how you've put him under your wing and shown him the way.
Taught him how to do everything he knows.
Yeah, I molded him out there. I got him. And he might not give me credit, but I know he's watching.
Sure.
You know he is out there somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a pretty good old boy, though.
I got you.
Well, guys, we're going to go right now and do this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week's being sponsored by our friends over at Cry Light Realtors, our buddy Wes Stone there. Y'all can give them a call, 615-289-9551, or you can stop by there, 1432 West Main Street in Lebanon, Tennessee, and see him and let him take care of all your real estate needs. And be sure to tell him thank you for all that he does for us here at the show. What you got over there, Dave?
All right, Danny does this, and I do this a lot. Anytime you got these plastic baits, they're not really scented or have a lot of oil or anything in them, whether it's a swim bait or a grub, the way to save yourself by going through packs and packs of these is once you get it threaded on where you want it to go, just like Danny showed you in the video, put you a little shot of super glue on there and let her sit. And that keeps that bait from pulling off all the time. After about 4 times of setting the hook or 25 times of setting the hook, it'll have a tendency to ease down. But now, it'll last as long as till you hang it up and it's gone.
Until you're ready for another color.
Yeah, but
the more time you spend putting on a bait, the less time you are fishing.
Absolutely.
And I'm a big believer in saving time and money.
And that's a big key.
It's a good key for both of them.
On saving a lot of your plastic baits. Now it's hard to glue a plastic onto a 1/0 worm hook or a 2/0 worm hook like those styles, but any type of grub, tube, swim bait, always glue those on.
Just make sure it's dry before you trap, because it won't work.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to get ready to take another quick break. We'll be right back with some more Southern Woods and Waters.